probably the best running back in the country.
Yeah. And just to state that man's name, his name is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
He's a Heisman candidate as well. Yeah, I can see why, like on the updated rosters of NCAA 14, he's a 99.
Yeah.
Yes, people still play that game.
Yeah, and NFL MVP of last year, Patrick Mahomes, he tweeted out saying Jonathan Taylor for Heisman.
Yeah.
So
he's catching some
the hype train.
news. Yeah, I mean he's catching some attention around the nation for sure.
Let's just slow it down though, Patrick.
Yeah, it's only the first game.
Yeah.
Which, what's Wisconsin's schedule really look like?
I mean, don't they play Michigan?
Yeah,
Ohio
but
State?
isn't Michigan always overrated?
I don't know about this year.
I mean, their offense, I don't know. They say that every year, though. But they play Michigan not next week, but the Saturday, which would be like 9/21. So I mean, it's in 2 weeks. I mean, other than that, Ohio State's a big one. I would pick maybe Iowa or Michigan State, but I'm not gonna use Nebraska because I think Nebraska's losing right now or tied up to what was it, like Alabama State or something like that?
South Alabama.
South Alabama.
They
That's
actually had it 4th down and 2 at the 4-yard line of USA, and they got the first down, so it's 1st and goal at the 1. So they're fixing to take.
I was
the
a
lead.
little surprised that they were ranked in the top 25 considering their how they played last year. Didn't they
Yeah.
go like 0-5 in the first half of the season? And then
Yeah.
watch one of the most ugliest games I've ever seen in my life of them in Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean Scott Frost. I mean he did turn it around at the end of the year. I guess that's what they're kind of building off of. But
I guess. So, which, recruiting comes into a big part of ranking teams like in the off season, especially like for the AP poll and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's like Auburn. I didn't think would be, if in the top 25, I didn't think they'd make it out of the 20s because, I mean, they had a mediocre season last year. So I was a little surprised that they were ranked number 16. I think a lot of that has to do with recruiting. Like a lot of the SEC teams, there was a lot of good seasons last year, but like A&M, I think, got the extra push to number 12 because of recruiting. Because
and
Jimbo walked
Jimbo.
in there, and he had a really good recruiting class. He was in the top 3, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think the coach has a lot to do with it too. I mean Scott Frost, he's a household name now.
Yeah,
So-
especially what he did with UCF.
Yeah,
Uh,
who we don't really
No comment.
mention on this show. But
it's like we don't mention the name.
yeah, we don't really acknowledge them as a football program.
Yeah, they had they had good years, and I mean they could still have a good year this year. It doesn't matter if they went undefeated this year; they're still not going to make it to the playoff. I mean,
No,
that's
not
all
until
it is
they
to
expand it.
You got to play. You got to play tougher teams.
Yeah,
That's one thing I don't like about Notre Dame. They should, them not being in a conference, they can pick around, who they want to play. They'll throw them like one good team here or there to kind of help their strength of a schedule. But
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about Notre Dame.
well, let's hear some of them, Mason. We got a little time.
Lou Holtz.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. I haven't seen that guy in a while, but I know when he was with, was he with the SEC or just like college football in general? But anyways, when he was a commentator and stuff like that, it didn't matter like what was going on in the nation. Notre Dame was going to win the national championship like every year. I mean, like that's about as biased as it comes. I know it's really hard to like not be biased to your team. Like even we struggle sometimes, but I mean, like that dude takes it to the next level. And plus he kind of spits in the mic 24/7.
Yeah,
I did like him though. I thought he was cool. He seemed like a really nice guy.
Well, I didn't like him as an analyst. He is just obnoxious to me.
Yeah, there's a few.
And
I know.
Nebraska just scored a touchdown
Uh-oh.
on a pass interference call on 3rd and goal from the 2. They got an automatic first down.
I know one analyst that a lot of I would say more Alabama fans and maybe SEC fans, like in general, are glad that's not with ESPN anymore. Is Danny Kanell? I hear so many people that just don't like Danny Kanell, which I think he does it on purpose. He does it to kind of fuel the fire.
Yeah.
It helps, especially with his social network. He'll pop something here or there about the SEC just get people riled up. I've even heard him talk about that on Saturday Down South. So kind of helps the stock a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. And then one more thing that I can think of that we haven't touched that I thought was interesting was Tulsa.
Yeah, I mean,
what happened to Tulsa?
What happened? Man. Just
Negative 73 yards?
Yeah.
In rushing?
I mean, well, what do you do? Are you playing Madden and running backwards, trying to
just left it idle? Yeah, you had to go to go to the bathroom or do something. You know,
you playing some NCAA 14, trying to cheat your opponent or something. I mean, what are you doing? How do you get negative 73 yards? It's just, I mean, their running back had 6 carries, 0 yards. He had a reception, negative 6 yards. I mean, do they know which way to run?
Which Michigan State's running back didn't have a whole lot of yards either. He had 43 for 15 carries, but I mean they won the game and they had I wouldn't say they put up a better game than even a more better game than Tulsa, but yeah, I mean they still handled Tulsa.
Yeah, like they should have.
And Tulsa was the one who was talking trash. Someone said that they didn't think that Mississippi State would be able to handle their offense or something along them lines, and they put up a performance like that, especially rushing. I mean, man. So, and they only scored one touchdown in the second quarter, and that was about it. So,
yeah, and Kentucky just tied the game. 6 minutes till half. It's tied at 14.
And you heard it. You heard it here. Mason's our news guy. He keeps you up to date with all the scores going on. But yeah, so that does it for our news. I think just about. Let's before we hop onto the SEC train and start talking about all these games. What's that one person that just pops out to you that what am I looking for?
Damn, son, you just hit with the wow effect.
Yeah, who gives you that wow effect?
For this week, or are we talking in general?
Just okay. We'll pick for this week. If there's someone you see right now that's got a good game going on, or you think's going to have a good game. I know there was one you were talking about earlier that you were pretty high on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really high on him in general, but today he had 4 touchdowns within the first 10 minutes.
Who would that be?
That's Justin Fields.
Justin Fields,
quarterback.
He kind of links in with the SEC, especially since he just transferred from Georgia through the transfer portal. There's a lot of debate about that, but yeah, he's putting on a show over there evidently, which it doesn't surprise me one bit because he didn't get a lot of good looks at Georgia, but he's a heck of a player. He was one of the top ranked quarterbacks in the nation. There's a lot of schools fighting over him, and then Georgia kind of just crapped it away. Which especially like you don't want to if the only way you remember him is that like fake field goal, fake punt, whatever Georgia did in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Throw that away. That's not him. He was. That's probably what made him leave. He's like, what the heck are we doing? It's changed a whole lot, for sure. He's a starting quarterback at Ohio State, and I think that game's going on right now, is it not?
Ohio State game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 28-0 over the FAU.
Oh yeah. He's taking it to him right now. What's his stats so far? Let's see here. We got 10 for 14, 172 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I'd say he's putting on the show right now.
Yeah.
And it's not even halftime yet.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And they're driving down the field as we speak, which are they're playing FAU, but evidently FAU is supposed to be a good team since Lane's there. So
yeah. Okay.
They were top in their division, but yeah, Ohio State, it may be a scary team this year, especially with that quarterback play.
Yeah, and got a little bit of breaking news here.
Let's hear it.
Out of the past, came out in the past hour. I'm sure that every SEC fan remembers Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
Well, he's been traded to the Seattle Seahawks from the Houston Texans.
Wow, and he's been at the Texans forever.
Yep, he was the first overall pick for the Texans, and Seattle gets Jadeveon Clowney, and Houston gets a third-round pick, linebacker Jacob Martin, and pass rusher Barcavius Mingo, who we all know also. And that's that.
Well, there you have it. Your breaking news. So, let's. What's one SEC player that gives you that wow effect?
I mean, me personally, I'm big on Juwan Jennings.
Oh yeah,
Just as a
Juwan Jennings.
Tennessee
Yeah,
fan.
seems like he's been there forever.
He has. He's been dismissed, reinstated. I'm pretty sure
he also
he's his
has that
fifth
big
year.
play. That 1 year at Georgia.
Yeah.
That big Hail Mary. But there's one guy in particular that I'm looking towards, especially that he'll probably have a good game, have a really big game today too. It's star receiver at Alabama, Jerry Jeudy. That dude is unreal. He's lights out at Alabama.
Yeah, the thing is
I honestly think he's one of the best receivers in college football.
I mean, he's probably one of the best of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
He might even be the best that's came through Alabama. I mean,
I don't know. There's a lot of good receivers. I mean, you got Amari Cooper, Julio Jones.
Julio, yeah. I think
Those are just some of the
he's
recent
better than
ones,
Amari
too.
Cooper.
Huh?
I think he's better than Amari.
Who?
Jerry Jeudy. Now Julio, that's a different story. I don't
Julio
know who-
was a monster. Which
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, he had good numbers, but he also got past the ball every play. It seemed like, and this year, Tua kind of spreads it out a little bit, and it's there's Alabama's wide receiver core is just unreal. It's probably one of the best in the nation, honestly. But yeah, we'll jump off that for a second, and we will talk about what's going on in this or the games that we think what we think about them pretty much. We can even do our picks if you want to, Mason.
Yeah, and we're going to try and keep track of our picks this season to see how we do. And we haven't exactly figured out how we're going to do the scoring on them, like how we do our picks. But, we're going to have to do something different for upsets, You can't just give, the same amount of value to an upset pick. But
let's start with the games that are going on right now. Kentucky and Toledo. Who do you think that Toledo is going to beat Kentucky? I don't think Kentucky's going to be the team they were last year.
I don't think so either, but I just have a feeling they're going to pull this one out.
Yeah, it's a close game. It's 14-14 right now, and it's almost halftime. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kentucky finds a way to pull this out. I really do.
That's just my gut feeling too.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of most teams usually don't fall victim to an upset in the SEC usually, but if we're swapping over to Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss is going to get an upset for sure.
Yeah, I mean they're just not good. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. They're just not a good team.
And they have a freshman quarterback this year
who's playing poorly right now. He's 5 of 13 for 43 yards, and he threw a pick.
Yeah, so a little growing pains for Ole Miss, which maybe it's hard to get a lot of recruits to come in there now because of all the sanctions that happen.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the running back also is averaging half a yard a carry right now. 6 carries for 3 yards.
Well, Memphis ain't, they're not just, walk in the park. Memphis has been a fairly good team these last few years.
Yeah, but, let's be honest. They're a basketball school.
Memphis?
Yeah. Derrick Rose?
Okay, but Memphis has had, they've had pretty good pretty good couple seasons. I mean, they're ranked third in their division.